Let's take some of these questions. Blunty, you've pinned some questions for me. What does HDZero need to do to make it your daily driver? Penetration, image quality, or both? Let me start by saying I love the experience of flying HDZero 90 FPS. That 4 milliseconds latency, there's no possible way to do an actual like blind test of DJI versus HDZero. Like, it couldn't be meaningful in any way, but you couldn't do a blind test. You would know. I swear I can feel the difference. I swear I just feel so much more fluid, connected, spontaneous, confident, all of these buzzwords when I fly that 90 FPS HDZero. It is fantastic. It's great. And the only thing that comes close, well, obviously analog gives you that experience, but it looks worse. That's putting it charitably. And the walk snail racing mode with the 540 P100, although the latency is not fixed latency, it is much more consistently down around 21 milliseconds, and it's noticeably better than when the latency is jumping around. It almost makes me think that again, and HDZero has been saying this, but it almost makes me think that consistent latency is more important than low latency, because the walk snail racing mode with about a 21 millisecond latency pretty consistently, although not perfectly consistent, it feels way better than regular walk snail. But here's the thing about HDZero and the reason why so far it's not my daily driver. First of all, I'm a lazy son of a bitch. I still have Caddx Vistas in most of my personal quads. Why is that? Why have I not switched to O3? Well, there are some things I like better about the Vista than the O3, but mostly it's laziness. I have some perfectly good flying quads. I see no reason to just throw them out and put the new thing in. That just sounds like a pain in the ass to me. A waste of money and time. And it makes me a bad content creator because I should be shilling for the latest and greatest. And I should always have the most up-to-date stuff so that I'm a good example for all you little minions about how you should always be buying new things. So I apologize to the YouTube gods and the gods of commerce for failing as a content creator in that respect. But I'm lazy. And so one of the reasons why I haven't switched to HDZero as my daily driver is the same reason I haven't switched to O3 as my daily driver, because I just got... But if I was to switch, if all of my Caddx Vista quads were to fall in the ocean and I was to have to build new quads, I still probably wouldn't pick HDZero, although I'd be like, I'd think hard about it because I really do like flying HDZero. And it's the range and penetration. Like, I will just tell you straight up that the way that DJI and Walksnail get blocky when the image gets bad is preferable to me to the way that HDZero gets all sparkly. I just like that better. And I feel like I can fly further and deeper into obstacles with DJI and Walksnail than HDZero. And I think that I am more annoyed by the inability to go somewhere that I want to go, whereas the latency, the effect of the latency, it's just it's very easy for it to just become background noise, and then you just do what you do. And you don't notice that there's like that little that reduction in the confidence and connectedness and spontaneousness. You only notice it then when you fly HDZero and you're like, oh, this is much better. But then instantly you're just getting constantly slapped in the face by the range and penetration. So one way, you're really psyched about how good it feels to fly, and you're getting slapped in the face by the range and penetration. And the other way, you kind of don't notice that it feels a little bit worse to fly, at least speaking for myself. And the range of penetration is better. And that's why. So what would it take? I mean, would they just have range and penetration? I don't care about resolution. I'd be fine if HDZero was like 720 or maybe even 540p. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't need 1080p, although I certainly appreciate it when I'm given it. But I'd be fine with that if it had more range of penetration and more usable ability to fly into places. David Henry, thanks for a $10 super chat. I have a Nazgul Evoque 6S F5D V2 with DJI O3. I bought the Express LRS RP3 receiver. I think I understand the S-Bus and the ground wire, but I'm scared. You want to put that receiver in there, right? I don't think you need to. Do you need to deal with the S-Bus and the ground wire? Do you need to cut the S-Bus wires so that you can use UART too? That may be what they're talking about. If that flight controller shares the DJI plug with the receiver plug, then you would need to cut the yellow wire, the S-Bus wire coming off the O3, to free up the UART. So that you could plug in the RP3 receiver. That's my guess as to what you're going at. Can we use the DJI Goggles 2 for a simulator? No, the Goggles 2 have no ability for input in that way. A detailed question addressed to you in Discord regarding ADAS build. Thank you for a $10 super chat, Frank Nicholas. This is going to be the last question of the stream. Building an ADAS quad like in one of your videos with the O3 Air unit. I picked up this flight controller. T-Motor H7 Mini. T-Motor recommends their 4 to 8S ESC. You do have to use a BEC. You do have to use a BEC to avoid feeding the flight controller 8S voltage. And the O3 Air unit requires 2 amps at 9 volts. This Maytech ESC will be enough. Wait. Why you care about the Maytech ESC? What does the ESC have to do with the voltage regulator? Oh, this is not an ESC, it's a BEC. How many watts? How many watts? Tell me the watts. Doesn't have a watts, okay. 24 volt DC in, 50 volt, yeah, 2.3 amps continuous. It's on the edge. That's 5 volt, I'm sorry, 9 volt, 2.1 amps. 3 amps max. It's on the edge. It's on the edge. I probably would use a bigger BEC. Should I use 2 of these? Don't use 2 regulators. What do you mean 2 regulators? This was... What's the amp rating? 5 amps. This one's better. I would use this one. Yep. Okay.